Hello friends, Ziki here, and this is Manga College. Yes, we've changed our name again, but I promise this is the last time. We recently acquired the domain www.manga.college, and so we just thought it would make more sense to streamline everything. Anyways, today's video will be focusing, or will pose the question rather, has Attack on Titan lost its way? The inspiration behind this video is simple. As a student of storytelling, it's interesting to look at what happens when there's a major shift in a story or when there's a major plot twist, because it can either enhance the story or completely ruin it, or at least taint it in the eyes of the reader. For those unfamiliar with Attack on Titan, it's set in a world where humanity lives in cities surrounded by enormous walls designed to defend them against the Titans, gigantic humanoids that feed on humankind. The story is initially centered on Eren Yeager, a young boy whose hometown is obliterated by the Titans, and he loses his mother in very brutal circumstances. So young Eren swears revenge on the Titans and joins the military in order to make this objective a reality. Note how simple this premise is. There are monsters. Boy's mom gets killed by monsters. Boy wants revenge. You can explain it to anyone and they will immediately understand what you're talking about. And I think that this simplicity is one of Attack on Titan's greatest strengths. Now, the cool thing about the series is that even though the plot is centered on revenge, it's really a story about humanity that poses the question, what would happen if an apex predator emerged? One that was superior to us in every way that mattered. And the two most fascinating things about the show are the Titans and the effect they have on humankind. Let's start with the Titans. I believe the creator Hajime Isayama is exploring a concept known as the Uncanny Valley. An idea that suggests that humanoid objects or beings that appear almost but not quite human elicit feelings of eeriness or revulsion in observers. In other words, when you have something that looks human but not exactly human, sometimes you get a feeling that there's just something creepy about this. And I think that that's what's so scary about the Titans, is that they look like us, but the minor differences make them so unnerving. Not just the aesthetic differences, but also the differences in their behavior. But what brings all of this home is watching how people react to the Titans. The visceral and crude manner in which the Titans dispatch the characters in the story is incredibly unsettling. Yet you can't help but be engrossed in the gore and the mayhem. I still remember the first introduction of the Beast Titan, watching that soldier essentially soil his trousers. The sheer power he displayed when he crushed another Titan with his bare hands. Moments like this are what Attack on Titan thrive off of. Therefore, even though the plot leaves a lot to be desired, and the character development can be fairly weak at times, we don't care because the story is such a thrill to experience. And it makes sense because Attack on Titan is a thriller, so there's never a moment's rest as they constantly ramp up the tension, so it's easy to look past the manga's weaknesses. The vast majority of story arcs in Attack on Titan follow the same formula. Our heroes have some sort of objective or mission, and if they fail, it could mean disaster for not only themselves, but for all of humanity. However, a complication always arises that eventually leads to a full-blown crisis, and after considerable losses, our heroes manage to achieve some sort of victory, but every victory creates new problems. Now, Attack on Titan also incorporates elements of mystery. Throughout the series, there are so many questions the readers want to know the answer to. What are the Titans? How do they come to be? How come Eren and the other human characters can turn into Titans? And the real mystery for much of the story is what is in Eren's basement. And this just shows how the story stimulates our curiosity, and what makes it really effective is that every question posed has multiple potential answers. And this combination of mystery and thriller is so effective in drawing readers in. Sometimes you're actually tired of the story. Sometimes I'm reading it, but I just can't take my eyes off of it. If you've ever read the work of Dan Brown, you'll know exactly what I mean. However, the mystery element can sometimes be frustrating. For example, Eren receives the basement key from his father in the very first issue of this series, but it's not until 90 or so issues later that we finally find out what's inside. But at the same time, because each volume is so intense and fast-paced, you often forget about the larger questions as you're more concerned with the immediate fate of the characters. And this is why I think the story is more of a thriller than a mystery. A manga I've spoken about on this channel before is Parasite. It's set in a world where a group of parasitic creatures arrive out of nowhere and possess a small percentage of the human population. Like the Titans, the parasites are apex predators that prey on human beings. This story is similar to Attack on Titan in the way that it poses similar questions, such as what are the parasites? How did they come to be? However, the reason why I bring up Parasite is because we never get conclusive answers to these questions, only theories. And while this open-ended conclusion frustrated many readers, I for one felt that Parasite was never about the mystery of the parasites, but rather the effect the parasites had on humanity. And this begs the question, would Attack on Titan be as effective without the underlying mysteries? Or no, you can still keep the mysteries, but would we as an audience be satisfied if we never got a conclusive answer to many of the questions posed? My initial answer was yes, but I started to wonder, would the story grow stale if they kept it as a pure thriller, assuming they want to continue it for another several dozen issues? Also, the more we get exposed to something, the more it loses its effect on us. And although I feel the series has done a good job of maintaining the eeriness of the Titans, I suppose at some point we will get used to them. And perhaps that's why in recent chapters, the story has transitioned into... Honestly, I'm not even sure what the genre is now, if we're going by the most recent chapters anyway. And that's why I'm wondering if the manga has lost its way. They've added new characters, new stakes, and honestly, I don't feel invested in any of it. I miss that constant sense of anxiety that the series gave me, the intense emotions and the awesome action set pieces. Now, having read the latest chapter of the series, issue 99, it does seem that we're heading towards another roller coaster ride. But now I'm not sure how invested I am in all that's going on. I'm not gonna lie, when I discovered what was in Eren's father's basement, I was a little disappointed. I felt that the so-called mystery behind the Titans was far too convoluted and overall a massive letdown that deviated from the sheer simplicity that made me fall in love with the series in the first place. Now that the mystery and the lore of the Titans has been somewhat diminished, the only thing left to push the story forward are the characters and the plot. And I feel like plot and character development are two of the biggest areas for improvement when it comes to Attack on Titan. So I'm not sure if this will be enough to keep us reading or at least keep us emotionally invested. It is possible to pull off a major plot twist or a major transition virtually seamlessly. I mean, one only needs to look at Berserk. The Golden Age arc starts off as something more akin to a period piece doused with a bit of magical realism, but then it transitions into a full-blown dark fantasy. Ultimately, I haven't made up my mind as to whether or not Attack on Titan has lost its way. The most recent chapters have been neither here nor there for me. But with the 100-page special coming out next month, I'm going to reserve my judgment until I have a chance to read it, so that I'm able to get a better sense of where the story is going, because right now, I have no idea. I'm kind of lost. But given how good Attack on Titan has been, I just can't bring myself to dismiss it yet. So let's see how it goes. Let's see what happens next month. Maybe I'll do another video reviewing the latest chapter or issue 100 of Attack on Titan. In any case, I'm going to stop here for today. It's been a pleasure, guys. Please share your thoughts with me. Has Attack on Titan lost its way, or do you think that the series is simply evolving? Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next week on Manga College.